Hey, Sonder family, happy Sunday. We are entering the very last week of July. Can you even believe it? You are here to set up that week so that it is a strong, powerful finish to, I think, one of the hottest months on record for most of America. I am Jennifer Ogilvy, and I am coming to you from the Dallas, Texas area. And I will be your facilitator tonight for the setup time this social. And then manning our chat is the fabulous Bailey, who is hailing from Tennessee. Hey, Bailey, she's giving you guys a wave. If you have any questions along the way tonight, please drop them in the chat. Bailey will remind you to make sure that you are set to everyone so we can all share our great ideas for setup together. And any questions you have about Silk and Sonder, Bailey can either answer them for you or she will point you in the right direction. She's got all the good information. So before we begin, let's make sure that that chat is set to everyone. I want to remind you, you are entered in a self-care raffle just by attending live. So we're so glad you're here for that. Double check, make sure you've got your pens and pencils and washi tape and all the good stuff for setting up. If this is your very first social to attend in real life, welcome. We're so glad you're here. And I'll give you a hint. And this is what I do when I go to socials is I have my phone near me. And when I see something on a screen that I like, I will capture it with my telephone. I'll just click a picture. And I also do a lot of work with post-it notes. And then later on, I sit down with my journal and really give myself time to dig in and set it up the way I want it. So that's just a little tip for you. And let's see, we're just going to get going. I'm so excited this month of Inspire, right? It's been great. We're going to kick off with our Inspire activity. We'll do our setup and then we're going to do our closing. And as you know, if you've been coming to all four weekly setups or you caught a recording, on our private YouTube channel, you know that we have been digging into the things that inspire us, the things that are important to us. We started week one with people. Week two was we looked at the places that offer ourselves inspiration. Last week, we dug into the things that give us inspiration. And this week, we are talking about activities. And I'll be honest, once I got going with thinking about my activities, I actually kind of ran out of space. And so I need to go back and squeeze in a couple more. When I started thinking about activities, the things that really inspire me, prepping my garden. I love in the spring when that garden is just bare and I get out there and I start adding compost and prepping it just kind of with that hope that I'll actually be able to grow something to eat. And then working in my garden brings me a lot of inspiration. I love cooking for family gatherings because it means my table is full and that brings me so much joy. And I am always inspired by the people that sit around my table. I love to plan and calendar. We used to call it calendaring at when I was working, and there was nothing better than getting my new school year academic calendar with a brand new month starting in July. And I just it inspire, and that's one of the beautiful things about Silk and Sonder because they're brand new every month. And I'm like, it's a blank slate. That inspires me. Anytime I can create sewing, making, crafting, quilting, gluing. I always say I'm dangerous with the glue gun. Positive social media like the Silk and Sonder Instagram and all those happy, positive places. I like to kind of scroll and lose my time in that. I love a good wine tasting. I have a group of ladies that we meet and we have ladies who lunch. That inspires me me going to outdoor concerts. And I have been in this community for 2 years now. So I'm still exploring. And so I love learning about this area. I went from one metropolitan area in Houston, and now I get to explore all the awesome things that the Dallas Fort Worth area offers. So that gives me inspiration. Anything with my grandkids, what can we say? Those little fresh eyes are so inspiring. Anytime you can spend time with littles, right? Oh, just the best for your heart. And then I love trying new coffee shops. And then the list goes on and on and on. So I'm going to stop talking and I want you to dig in to the things that inspire you, those activities, the things that you do. And so think about what are the things you like to do, those things you're passionate about. What makes you lose complete track of time? What do you think you're really good at? What are things that you like to do and you might not have been doing enough of them lately? What activities relax you? What activities give you energy? And do you have unfinished projects that you've always wanted to have done? So consider these. What can you do in your life to embrace those activities that inspire you the most? How can you make time for those activities? Maybe you need to do a little planning in that weekly spread that we're going to start working on. And do you need to eliminate some things that might be standing in the way of making room to have time to do those things that bring you inspiration? So I'll play a couple of songs and check back in. And if you'd like to share in the chat, we'd love to see the activities that inspire you the most. All right. So we were able to take a look at all the different ways we can find inspiration in our life through this series over the month and looking at those activities. The thing about putting this stuff on paper, right? It just speaks to us in a different way when we actually write it out and see it. And so I'm going to encourage you to take a couple of those things that just bring you so much inspiration and figure out a way you can incorporate those in your life this week. Maybe being outside and taking a hike, maybe you could find 10 minutes to go somewhere and just take a short hike. Perhaps sitting at your sewing machine and working on a small project, and schedule that in so that you are embracing all those beautiful things that you shared with us tonight. So I love that. I love that you are finding that inspiration and you've written it down as those very solid reminders of what brings you the most inspiration in your life. So, we are here on a Sunday night leaning into a brand new week. We made it through this month. We do not have, not today, Sunday Scaries, not this group. We've got it. We're embracing. Before we really dig in, I do want to just chat about our chat. If you are brand new here, you may see it moving kind of quickly. So don't panic about that. Feel free to scroll as you need to, or again, maybe snap a picture if you see something that speaks to you. Now, I know a lot of you already have your rhythm to setting up and you wash, rinse, and repeat. I tend to do mostly the same things, but this is the time that you've carved out for yourself. And I am so glad that you are here. For you folks who have done this a bunch, please feel free to share in the chat how you use these sections. I love the weekly setup because some of the things that we're going to talk about can be used in all kinds of ways all over these pages in the different areas of our boxes and that kind of thing. So the repurposing part is what's critical in making this journal work for yourself. And it is okay to not do it all. If you don't want to put your to-dos in the to-do box, just put a fun sticker or a quote there. This is about making the journal work for you. And that is so important to remember. So we are going to start off working on our pages. If you will go to page, let's see if I've got I flipped back to the wrong week, page 52. And we're going to work on these sections together, how we want to feel, and our three major goals for the week. So I've got some feeling words here if you are needing a little inspiration, and I'll come back to this slide. But think about when we are looking next Sunday backwards, how did you want this week to go? And figure out those words that will embrace the way that you'll be feeling about this week in 7 days from now. And then we're going to choose three major goals. And here are some ways to think about embracing that. You might want to go flip back to page 9 and page 11 and look at those intentions and habits that you set for yourself at the front end of the month. Is there anything lacking or anything that needs to be adjusted? You can use that to inspire your major goals this week. You might want to look at the previous journals that you have, if there's something outstanding, or just go backward. And since this is our last full week, you've got lots of stuff in your journal, but maybe there's some outstanding things and you just want to roll them forward into one of the goals this week. You could issue yourself a personal challenge, like maybe it's a cleaning challenge or a fitness challenge, or really leaning into self care, and you're going to set three self care goals. Or you could create three no goals, right? To kind of get rid of some things in our life that are not serving you. So maybe back off on the doom scrolling. I'm terrible about that, going down those rabbit holes. Or eliminate certain number of minutes on social media, put yourself on a social media diet if that's causing an issue, or no takeout meals, those kinds of things when you think about no goals. And then ways to repurpose are there. Quotes, you could put some shows or podcasts you want to take care of this week, maybe 3 ways to embrace summer before we know it, it's going to be fall. Or there's some things that you really want to do before we start seeing that change in our weather. 3 favorite songs of the week that you're going to be intentional about listening to. Maybe put down some topics you want to know about. Maybe you'll try 3 new recipes, create a mini bingo board. This space is all about what will bring you joy at the end of the week next week, what you want to look. So I've got some examples here from the Sonder family so that you can draw some inspiration from them. And I'm going to put on a song and I will scroll back and forth between these slides to the song. And then if you want to share some of the things, how you're going to frame your week with how you want to feel and what your goals are, please feel free to drop that in the chat. Whoops, I was typing. Sorry, you guys. Thank you for sharing in the chat. That is so helpful. You guys have a lot of good stuff planned for the week. And I know that someone said, I'm kind of feeling stuck. And let me speak to that. You don't necessarily have to fill this out right this minute. Maybe as you start to dig into what your week is going to look like, some words will come to you and help you frame those goals. Maybe once we work on our habits and activities for the week, you'll see a common thread, and perhaps that will help spark that. So give yourself that grace and that time to not feel like it has to be filled out right now. And this week, it's okay. Sometimes we just have a blank. We just draw a blank, and that's okay. And maybe midweek, you will find yourself embracing something to put in there. So, give yourself a lot of grace when you are working these pages as you are setting up what your week is going to look like. So lots of great words, a lot of belief and strong and lighter, feeling lighter. There's some folks starting brand new jobs, going into new situations. Some folks are getting to travel this week. So you've got lots and lots of wonderful things to look forward to. And if it's going to be a tough week, then I want you to find a word that is going to frame it in the most positive way you can so that you can draw inspiration from that word. Remember who you are, remember how strong you are, and that you've got this. I know someone posted that they are working on kind of resolving some health issues and figuring that out. And man, when you make your health those three goals and you start tracking and using that, it can really manifest into you taking more control over your body. Even though it might not change how you're feeling, it gives you power over how you're feeling. And that can be very, very beneficial for your mindset. So let's see. It's time to tackle those weekly to-dos. And I love this little box in on this page because it can be refashioned to fit your life. Again, all these spaces can be reworked to work for you. This little side note that you see over here on the right is actually from the Silk and Sonder Instagram page. If you're not following it, I recommend that positive social media stuff. It's good content, and I loved this. How to get more done in less time. Set your top 3 goals for each day. Design your environment for work. So make sure your space brings you joy and is authentically reflecting who you are. Schedule breaks. This is a big one. I remember a couple of weeks ago, Maya was talking about, when I work from home, I realize I don't take breaks. And she said, I think I might need to schedule breaks into my day. Set an alarm on your phone. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Have space to write down distracting thoughts so that they're down on paper and they're out of your head. Block distracting apps or websites. Again, that's a good thing to take away, and avoid multitasking. So maybe some of those will speak to you as you look into diving into this week's to dos. So we have shared this graphic that's on the left often. It's the Eisenhower matrix. And especially, if your plate is feeling super full right now, I recommend framing all of those to dos with this technique because it does indeed help you prioritize the things that really, really need to get done, and helps you give yourself permission to dump the things that maybe shouldn't take first a front row in your life. And so that graphic is there. And then what it looks like on the journal, there's an example from one of you, the Sonder fam, who posted in the Sonder Club. And I will go back and forth through these slides. This is also a great way to frame that space. Do a need, want, and hope to do or wish list. And someone used this for their to do box, and you can see they framed it into need, the things that needed to happen, the things they wanted to do, and the things that they were wishing for. So, might be a fun way to frame those to dos. Here is a great way to divide up though that to-do box. You can see the one on the left says, here are my self to-dos, which I love that that's first and foremost, then home things, and then things for others. And then there's also the wants and the needs, as well as morning and evening. So that can help you organize the spaces that are there. Um, I love the repurpose. Now, I use my to-do list as a ta-da list because what I do is I put a to-do list on my everyday thing, the things I want to do that day. And then the extra things I do, I throw it on a ta-da list. So that way I can, pat myself on the back for actually doing something. You could do a to-don't list. Maybe there are some things you're trying to get rid of and get out of your life. Katie, one of our other facilitators, makes a dread list from time to time, and it's going backward in the journal and looking at all the things she hasn't done, and she puts it all in one place and knocks it out. And then I always love this one, the to be list. What do you need to just be in your life, to be present? Now, this is one of my personal tips. Every month on the first notes page in my journal, I make a big O to do list. It's kind of a brain dump list. And I put things that I want to shop for on there. You can see that on the right hand side. And then just kind of the big to do list. And sometimes I just tackle the list. Other times I may take something from that list and actually move it into something I need to do that week. And sometimes it's just things that are kind of out there and they don't have a timeline, but I don't want to forget about them. And so this list will grow and shrink as the month goes on. And then when the new month comes, I'll transfer whatever's undone into that next month. So that's just kind of, one of my helpful hints for figuring out how to track all of those kinds of things. So let's get going with our to-do list. I'll put on a song and I'll scroll back and forth. If you have any suggestions on how you use this, please feel free to drop it in the chat for our Sonder fam to see. Okay, so you guys are framing this space to really work for you. Um, some of you have some really big things going on this week, some medical stuff. So we are holding space for you. um just I That's one of the things that's so great about these setups is to come and find some support and hear some cheers for you. So I'm so glad that you guys are here, and thank you for sharing. I know sometimes it can be hard to share, and it's good to know that you have people who care. So we are holding space for those of you who are dealing with those medical things or a loss. Someone's shared that they had a loss of a dear friend. So it's just I'm very honored that you are here and that you are sharing. Also, just in case you didn't know, I didn't know, Kelly made sure that we all know it is National Tequila Day. Hot enough for a good old margarita. I may have to go take care of that in a little while. So thank you for that, Cher. See, we all take care. We all take really good care of each other. So I love my Sandra family. All righty. So let's get to that habit and activity. Oh, and it's an International Self Care Day. So how about that? Thank you, Melissa. So I'm going to take care of myself with a cold margarita, maybe. Okay. So let's look at the bottom part of page 52. All righty, and those are our habits and activities. If you are brand new here, setting up, and you may be wondering, well, what's the difference between this habit thing and that monthly habit tracker? And I think the majority of us like to take that monthly habit wheel or tracker, and use that as the things that we intend to do every single day this month. So, probably things that need to become part of your regular routine. I put things on there like make my bed, put brush my teeth and put on my sunscreen, take those morning vitamins because I'm terrible about remembering those. And then I have three things that I put on in the evening, which is, my evening routine. But it's something I want to do every single day. The weekly activity changes for me, those activities and habits, really based on what I plan to do in any given week. And I'll be spending time with my mom this week. I'm her person who goes to the doctor with her. So I'm going out of town, and I know that she is going to have sugar there for me. I was sharing that with Bailey. It's always like a cobbler. So she'll tell me, oh, it's fruit and it's good for you. So you can see my little activities this week. I am doing 3 days this week without sugar. And I probably need to do that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because when I'm with my mom, it's probably not going to happen. So that's that's why I frame that activity like that for this week. So that kind of can, be adjusted to what's going on in your life at any given week. So you can go back and look at those intentions and your monthly habits, see if there's anything that you could drop in those activities or habits for this week to make that monthly stuff happen. There are some examples that I've posted here for that space. Now mine is right here, and this week I am call my theme is just say no, and everything I'm doing is about stopping something or eliminating something. So you can see I plan 5 times to sit and delete at least 50 emails from my inbox. I plan to declutter 4 bags of stuff and get them out of the house. I plan to go 3 days without sugar. I'm throwing away all the expired food. I'm going to go through the cabinets, through the fridge. That is something that needs to happen. And then I'm going to have one day that I'm going to try to no social media. We'll see how successful I am. But my whole theme around my activities is a just say no week instead of taking stuff on because I'm real good about adding. Um, I want you to notice this upper right one, 3 habits and activities tracked, just 3. You can always Just fill out what you need this week. You know yourself better than anyone else. And no one's going to take this up and make sure that it's all completed. This is your private space to create the life that you need to create for yourself. So you have permission to not fill it all in if you just don't feel like doing that. And I also wanted to point out the one on the bottom left. They are going to assuming they're gonna try to aim for every day this week for those 4, just 4 activities, and they're going to just indicate it with that certain color sticker. So they're not even putting pressure on themselves with any kind of number. So it's really what works for you. All righty. So let's look at this part of our journal. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to work on it, and I will check back in with you. Absolutely. So I saw a little bit in the chat about um, starting new habits and hopefully reinforcing them through this weekly tracker. And some great advice was shared. It is one of the things is, when you are starting to create habits and tracking them, we want to feel successful. So do a couple of gimmies, the things that you know you're going to do so that you can get those endorphins that happen when you feel accomplished. That is so important. I love Wordle. And so on my habit tracker, one of my morning habits is Wordle because I know I'm going to do it. It makes me open that page. So I'll check it off and then I'll see Jennifer, go brush your teeth and put on your sunscreen and take your vitamins. So do a couple of gimmies so that that way you will be encouraged to do other things and always start small, right? There's a couple of things, a couple of sayings that we like to bring up, eat the frog first thing in the morning. I mean, if that's the worst thing that you do, then the rest of the day is going to be smooth. Set yourself up for success. And then there's also how to eat an elephant. Will you eat it one bite at a time? So give yourself small bites as you lean into creating new habits for success. Again, this is about what you need in your life. So let's move over to the meal plan. Now, this is one of the spaces. It's on page 53. It's going to be on the left hand side. And you can either use it as your meal plan, plan out your week, helps you get your grocery list. So certainly you can use it for a meal plan. I use mine personally as an after what we eat plan because now that we're empty nesters, we have a lot of leftovers. And they tease me, but I'm worried we're going to forget what day we had the enchiladas. And I do not want to give myself food poisoning. So I track afterward so that we know when we pull out a thing, we can go, oh, was this on Monday or was it Wednesday? Can make a big difference. If you want to repurpose, I've got several suggestions here from the Sonder fam. You can see the one on the far left is a symptom tracker. They are tracking glucose numbers. And so, if you have something medically going on, this is a great space to track maybe how you're feeling after you eat something, or maybe if you wake up with a certain pain somewhere, you can track that. You'll have all that information in one place for your medical provider. It's a great way to track those kinds of things. The next one is our daily affirmations. So, if you needed a good spot to stick those, there you go. Somebody practices the 7 types of rest, and I will show you some slides with all of this information, but they are very intentional about working in those different types of rest each week. And there is a cleaning list, the next to the last one on the right. And then the last one is a wardrobe planner. If you want to make sure you're not repeating, what you're wearing to work. So people are like, because I don't know about y'all, I have a closet full of clothes and I tend to wear the same thing. I'll sometimes go and look at the Sonder socials on YouTube to make sure I'm not repeating the same outfit that I've been in the last 3 times that I facilitated. So here's another long list of ways that you can repurpose this space for you that will work for you. We're also going to take a look at the Mind Body Health Plan, which is next to that sleep tracker. And this is a space that I have tried many, many things, different ways to use this. And I'll share some of those. I love the alliteration days, Motivation Monday or Mother Nature Monday, Meatless Monday. So there's some suggestions for this space. This is the one that I personally have found to be most beneficial, and I kind of keep coming back to it. So it may end up just becoming what I do, and it's just a daily reflection, a self-esteem journal, and kind of do that at the end of the day to reflect upon my day. And again, I will go back and forth between these. There is a graphic on those 7 types of rest, what that looks like, as well as 4 types of self care and how to practice them. And so those practices may be added to that space. So let me put on a song while we work on this, and I'll go back and forth between those slides in case there was something that caught your eye for your space. If you use this space in a certain way, either one of these spaces, the food log or the this part, the mind body, let us know in the chat. Okay. So I saw Jenny said, "Can I just put rest?" Absolutely, especially if you are going through a period when your health is, the number one priority and you're trying to figure some things out. So, again, these spaces are to be used in the way that serves you the best. Okay. It's not about anybody else. It's what serves you the best. And if you could leave it blank and add to it day by day, if you rested, if you moved, if you ate healthy, and track your reward yourself by writing that in and feeling empowered. So it's really what works for you in your life. That's the beautiful thing about these awesome journals. So let's tackle, we've got a few spots left and we are getting ready to run out of time. We're going to look at the shopping list. This space can be a shopping list, so you can snap a picture with your phone as you write things down, and then you can carry your phone with you or have your journal with you. Some ways to repurpose. Maybe you'll make this a chore list or a bills due. I have started doing a bingo every week. A little you can see my little 12 square bingo. My birthday was at the beginning of this month and I made a birthday week bingo, which I had so much fun doing, and I did a blackout on it. These are low stake things, so if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's okay. This was my bingo right here that I've been recently working on. And just I work on stuff and I check it off and it gives me my little endorphin that yay, you did it. So I've just started using my shopping list as a bingo space. Oh, Megan, yes, you have to celebrate yourself. She says her birthday's next week. Happy birthday. So make yourself a little bingo if you just need another little motivation. And some of the things I put on there are fun. I have on this week, I have a little coffee shop that makes a lavender latte. So that's one of my bingos this week, in addition to cleaning the toilets. So, it's all about balance, right? And let's see, I want you to, but below that shopping list area is loving. And I think it's important to think about, what are you loving right now, right this very moment? Is it a show? Is it being with your family? All those good things that inspire you. Just a quick peek at some pages here from Sonder Family, how it was set up. Oh, that's okay, Megan. It's still, we'll celebrate your birthday now. You got to celebrate for a month, right? That's just how it goes. Sometimes these pages, these weekly spreads, it's like, oh, what do I do with them? So there are some examples of how to set it up. This person has to-do lists, meal plan, a daily prompt there. This person has put the hours of the day there, and then she answers journal questions at the bottom. Here's a bunch of Motivation Monday, Transformation Tuesday. I always like to see how people set those pages up. And then here we go. There is my page on the far left. There's my morning Wordle, and then I go to my habit tracker, the monthly, and check it off. And I put my daily affirmation up there. I repurposed it for me. I do my appointments up at top, and I do my to-do list, and then my prayer concerns down at the bottom. So it's really up to you how you use that space. And here are some fun days coming up this week. If you want to be inspired by some of these national days of the week, you might want to pop one or two of those into your plans this week. And without further ado, I'm going to move forward to our closing slides. While the last song plays, I will scroll back through these so you can take one more look. Here is our code, our QR code for the Sonder Club. If you are not already part of that community, I encourage you. If you're having a bad day, I tell you, I see people come and say, hey, I'm stopping by because this week's kind of crummy. And you can get lots of good loving from the other Sonder family members. That bottom QR code that you're seeing now is the link to our recordings. That is a private YouTube channel just for Sonder family. And then you can also take our scan that top QR code so that you can be able to take that end of social survey and give your feedback on things that you'd like to see in your journal, all that good stuff. And let's play some music and I'll scroll back through some slides. Thank you all for joining. Bailey and I have an absolutely fabulous week, and we'll just see you in August.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that can be a better day despite the challenge. All you gotta do is leave it better than you found it. It's gonna get difficult to stand, but hold your balance. I just say whatever, cause there is no way you're around it. 'Cause everyone falls down sometime, but you just gotta know it'll all be fine. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Hey, some days you wake up and nothing works, you feel surrounded. Gotta give your feet some gravity to get you grounded. Keep good things inside your ears just like the waves and sound it. And just say whatever, cause there is no way you're around it. Everyone falls down sometime, but you just gotta know it'll all be fine. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine